How much are the Bucs going to miss Antonio Brown in the playoffs, Chris?
You always miss good players. And regardless of what the players say, the coaches say, oh, next guy up, but it's actually the next guy up has less talent. So you have to not open up the playbook. You have to condense the playbook, even though you have Tom Brady. Tom Brady will have to do less because he's not as familiar with the personnel. If you look at what they like to do, they like throwing the ball down the middle. They like to Gronk. They like throwing the ball deep on the outside to their wide receivers. But when you give Brady a lot of pressure, they like the screen game. And when you have a guy like AB, who you can throw it to sideways in the quick screen game, and he can run off with it and make people miss, those kind of things, they can't be replaced. Now, I know Scotty made a great play in last year's NFC Championship game, but when teams are preparing for him to be the number 2 or number 3 guy, will these role players be able to fill that void? And ultimately, you can't replace his speed. Like, he is a speed receiver. They don't have one. So now, how do the Buccaneers and Tom Brady attack the defenses without that component? Veteran receiver, good route runner, tremendous speed in the screen game and down the field.
It's amazing because I look at the Buccaneers right now compared to Brady's last season in New England, where it was like, where are the weapons? Because you mentioned no Brown, but no Godwin. Fournette has been injured. Like, there's a lot of so who's going to step up? And last year, as much as we talk about Godwin and Evans and Antonio Brown, guys stepped up when they needed them. Let's look at 3rd and 11 in the fourth quarter of a playoff game that they were trailing. And who did Brady look for on 3rd and 11 on a back shoulder fade? Tyler Johnson made the biggest play. Tyler Johnson's still there. How about this one? You mentioned Scotty Miller made the big play. It was a huge play at the end of the half. Scotty Miller made that play. And this year against the Bills, when they needed a play in the most desperate of moments in overtime, it wasn't AB, it wasn't Godwin, it wasn't Evans, it was Rashad Perryman. All 3 of those guys are there. Cyril Grayson made the big play against the Jets. This is the NFL. A lot of better players than Antonio Brown have been missing for stretch runs. I think these guys can step up, and I think Brady's the ultimate glue. I think the Antonio Brown loss is far secondary to Levante David's loss. They missed Levante David on Sunday. I watched that game. The Jets, they had their way
that
with
big
the
run.
It
looked like they had 10 guys on the field.
They had 10 guys on the field, and Levante's nowhere to be found because he's out, and there's just no one to replace him. I think the Buccaneers' defense is in a far worse situation without Levante David than the Buccaneers' offense is without Antonio Brown. He's a good player, Antonio Brown. He is a lot on that team, and I know that the front office was up very late last night. Tom was talking about this on how they handle the situation because there's a mental health aspect to this. There's the league aspect. There's the Players Association. Isn't it as clean as, he's cut, he's gone? That's a headache right now for the Buccaneers organization as much as it is for everybody else talking about it right now. So AB, in the long run, I think they could be just fine. In the short term, it's a distraction they've got to deal with. And in the very near term, there's got to be guys who stepped up. And all 3 of those guys have stepped up in the past.
They have. And we talk a lot about the Scotty Miller play. And the Scotty Miller play was big. Godwin was the star in that game. Look it up. Like, Chris Godwin went off against the Packers. The Scotty Miller thing was the highlight, but maybe he did that because you had the studs doing their thing, and Evans had a touchdown early. I think it's really important. And when AB's doing his thing with the shirt off, walking off, your mind can go a lot of different ways. What the hell is he doing? What is Arians going to say? What is Brady going to say? Personally, I said, oh, my God, that could be the difference right there between a title game and a Super Bowl. Without a doubt, that could be Brady's 11th Super Bowl running off the field shirtless. They got to go to Green Bay again. They needed every single player in that roster to beat that Packers team. It was that close of a game. And Antonio, for all of his polarization and all of his antics, he's awesome. He's an awesome player they just lost. And if they hadn't lost Godwin, who cares? It was a nice luxury.
Yes,
I feel like they had an embarrassment of riches. We got 1 million running backs, 1 million receivers. We got Brady, we got Gronk. Godwin hurts. Antonio hurts. Now we're talking about Evans drawing a ton of coverage. Evans is banged up.
Yes.
Just look at the games last year. When those role players are great. They're little side dishes. They're not the steak. And I feel like they lost some steak. And if you're looking at Green Bay versus Tampa on paper, and I know all the stuff you said about all those players you can say about David Patton and Troy Brown and all those, that's the Brady experience. But going into Lambeau down that many good players, aside from Antonio Brown's personality, just his pure football, I think it hurts. I really do.
Antonio Brown had 81 yards total in the Bucs' entire 4-game run through the playoffs. He didn't even play in that game at Lambeau. Great points all around here. And I would say to your stake, the real stake to me was Leonard Fournette through this playoff run. Chris Godwin was tremendous, but we're talking consistent security blanket, the best consistent weapon that Tom Brady had at his disposal through that win streak and through the playoffs was
playing the best football of his career. And
the most dominant player during last year's run. Yeah, it was this guy averaging 112 yards and a touchdown per game on that run. So if he's back in business and the defense is healthy and that offensive line plays as well as it can, I think they're okay. They need him to be back. His status right now, hamstring, not great, seems to be up in the air. But if it's him, Mike Evans, and Gronk, and that O-line, and missing Levante David, to your point, but I think Leonard Fournette plays huge in this race.
Yeah, and that's the thing about designing a football team. They have so many weapons that you have to play cover 2. The number one thing to do against cover 2 is run the ball. The reason why Fournette is so effective with them is he's getting 6 people in the box. In Jacksonville, they got 8, they got 9 people jammed up in there. It's a perfect fit. But when you start taking pieces away, and if I do put Fournette back in there, I can put another guy in the box because I don't have to worry about those guys outside.
Keyshawn Vaughn, their young player, he got hurt in the game against the Jets. Ronald Jones has not been what they were expecting. So to your point, Fournette might be their most valuable player right now outside of Brady. They need him back.
I don't know who the Grayson is of the running back group that's going to step up in these big moments.
It's not Le'Veon Bell. I don't think you can rely on Le'Veon to just suddenly carry the team unless he has some great career resurgence. You're looking at me. You think Le'Veon can do it? At this point in his career, that's asking a lot from Le'Veon Bell based on what we've seen.
No, he has no more big plays left in him. Ain't no more fantasy football L. Bell. Like, he made a huge mistake in leaving the Pittsburgh Steelers. He left a lot of juice there. Both him and AB, since they left Pittsburgh, what have they done?
It's crazy that they were both on the roster for this game against the Jets. Wild that Le'Veon Bell was on that team.